Today I'm going to make molletes. It's basically a Mexican bean and cheese sandwich. You take some sandwich rolls, cut them in half, and you put them in the oven for a little while, just a few minutes at 400, kind of crust them up a little bit. And then you put refried beans, some shredded cheese on there, and you put them back in the oven. Let the cheese melt and the beans get hot, and then you pull it back out and you put some Pico De Gallo on top, and that's your sandwich. It's bread, refried beans, cheese, and Pico De Gallo. I'm going to start by making the Pico De Gallo. A little bit of some tomatoes from our garden, jalapeno from our garden, a lime. I'm going to put some lime juice on there, and some onion. The garlic is actually for the refried beans, but I'm going to put some onion on there. So I'm going to start off by getting a bowl to put all this in. And I'm going to start off by chopping up about a half an onion. I don't need a lot for this sandwich. Don't need a lot of Pico De Gallo for this sandwich, so I'm going to start with about a half a white onion. Maybe even a little bit less. My wife won't be happy because she likes a lot of onion in everything. Me, I like onion. I like to flavor things with onion, but I don't like the onion to overpower the entire dish. So I'm gonna go somewhere between rough cut and fine chopped on this for the pico. I don't want it so fine that you don't get a good bite of it, but I don't want it so chunky that you get a big old piece of onion in your mouth. Alright, that ought to do it. 2.5 onion. I'm gonna add some chopped tomatoes. Boy, these are really ripe. Using all my tomato seeds. Probably need to sharpen this knife again. It's been a while. One more. In case you're wondering, my sink's over there. Ooh. Alright, that should be plenty. Mixed in there. I'm going to do about a half a jalapeno. I'm going to go ahead and split it and seed it. So I'll do a horizontal half. Seeds out. There we go. My wife does not like overly spicy. I tend to leave just a few seeds in there, get a little bit of spice. This is going to be a little bit more finely chopped than the onion, but not as finely chopped as if I were mixing it into like a ground beef or something. Good, and we'll test that for heat at the end. Alright, so we got onion, tomato, and jalapeno. I am still out of cilantro. If you've been following my videos, I'm still out of cilantro, but we grew some cilantro this year, and the end of the season, we cut the leaves and we dried it. And so I'm going to use my dried cilantro. Dashes of that. And then about half a, wow, everybody wants to talk to me. About a half a, gracious, I guess I do need to sharpen this knife. Half a lime for the juice. Put that on there. That's not enough. We'll add the other half. My homemade pico. See how that tastes. It's not bad, but I think it needs a touch of salt. Not a lot, that's a little bit. Barely even know it's there, but that enhances the other flavor. Yep. That's good. All right, we're good there. Next thing I'm going to do is set up for the refried beans, and I'll be right back. All right, for the refried beans, I don't know if you have seen my spicy black bean soup video. I'll put a link in the top left-hand corner of the video of that, but I made the black beans for that and for this recipe. This is the rest of the black beans. That's going to go in the refried beans. And then adobo. You know what I'm using for pan. Gonna do about 3 chipotle chilies and some adobo sauce. I'm gonna use a little bit of salt, some black pepper, some ground cumin, and the other half of that onion, along with looks like 4 garlic cloves, really 3 because these 2 are kind of small. That's all going to go into the black beans as I refry those. So let me get to that in just a second. Okay, I'm going to start by chopping the garlic up. And I'm just going to start with the 3. See how it tastes, and I need to add another thing of garlic. I'll add that later. Alright, a little minced garlic. A little bit of paper on here. There we go. That. Alright, garlic and the onion are ready. I'm going to use avocado oil. And I'm going to use medium-high heat. Let that heat up to hot but not smoking. You usually tell by the change of the shimmer of the oil. But I also like to just plop a little bit of onion in the oil. And when it starts bubbling nicely around the edges of the little piece of onion, I know I'm ready to go. I'm just going to simmer this for a little while. We're going to add a couple of cups of beans to that, and then we'll add our spices. Alright, I'll be back when this is ready to simmer. Okay, the onion is bubbling away. So I'm going to add the rest of the onion. Oh my, making a mess. And garlic. And let that saute. And the avocado oil, just for a few minutes until the onion becomes a little bit translucent. Well, you can already smell it. It smells wonderful. Nothing like sauteing onion and garlic. Oh my goodness. You don't want these to turn brown. You definitely want to get to them before they turn brown. All right. I'm just going to simmer just a little bit more as I add the beans in. Half a cup. Another cup. And for my purposes, about a cup and a half. Stir it around. All right. I'll take the adobo. Around here somewhere. Just going to use one of these chilies because they're quite large. So one will be fine. And about a half a tablespoon of the adobo sauce. That. Half a teaspoon of the cumin, maybe a little light on that. So, no. A little less than half a teaspoon. Not much less, but a little less than half a teaspoon. And the same thing with the black pepper. Half a teaspoon, which I think is a quarter teaspoon if I'm not mistaken. And a little more than that, a little more than a quarter teaspoon with the salt. All right, that's all my ingredients. For the refried beans, let that simmer and let those spices kind of get absorbed in the beans and the broth. There's a little bit of broth in each of those half a cup of bean I was putting in there. Normally you'd also add about a half a cup of broth, but there's from the beans, there's no need to do that. Chopping up that chipotle chili, if you wonder what I'm doing. That all mixed in there. All right, we're going to let this simmer and thicken. And I'm going to turn the heat down to medium low. Get the potato masher, and we're going to start mashing this up. Now you could also put this in a blender and make a puree out of it, but you want it thick enough that it spreads on the sandwich. You don't want it so liquidy that you can't spoon it on the sandwich. So I'm choosing not to use a blender. Going the old-fashioned way. Now this is not my usual recipe for refried beans. I don't usually put chipotle in it or adobo sauce. This was a recommendation from somebody who made these molletes. So I thought I'd try it out. All right, I'm going to let this continue to thicken. If I need to mush it up a little more, I will. Alright, I'll be back when this is just about ready. Okay, this is thickened up nicely. That'll be just about perfect. It'll thicken a little more as it cools a little bit. Just a little bit more and we'll be done. Turn the heat off. It's an electric stove, so it's going to stay hot for a bit. Get this to where it's not quite sticking on the bottom. Yeah, that's nice. Nice consistency. Off the heat. Stir it a little bit more while it's cooling down. Again, so it does not stick to the bottom. Well, that's nice. Very nice. I'll be back when I'm ready to build the molletes. Okay, we have everything ready for the molletes. Bread, the oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. Take one of these sandwich bread rolls and cut it in half. And we're going to let this go for just about 3 or 4 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes. We're going to let that go at 400 degrees for about 3 or 4 minutes. Just kind of dry it out a little bit, crust it up a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and put it all together. So I'll be back as soon as that's ready to come out. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
Okay, there's only about 28 seconds left on my timer. Let's see where we are. Oh yes, that's actually good. Just about perfect. I don't need this anymore. Yeah, they're just about perfect. They're just crusted up a little bit. Still soft. Nope. Still soft. And I'm actually going to push them in, especially this thin piece, so it'll cradle the beans a little better. Now really all that's left is to add a layer of these amazing refried beans. Man, these are good. Add a layer of these refried beans to each piece of the bread. Well, I wish you could smell this. It smells really good. Alrighty, add the cheese. I'm using the Fiesta blend, Mexican Fiesta blend. Alright, that's going to go back in the oven for about 3 to 5 minutes at 450. See how that looks. Just let the cheese melt. Heat up the beans a little bit more again. Alexa, set a timer for 3.5 minutes.
3 minutes and 30 seconds, starting now.
Alright, we'll check that in about 3.5 minutes. If the cheese is melted, we're done. And there's enough refried beans here for another couple of sandwiches for sure. So that's good. Now don't forget, we're going to put the Pico De Gallo on top of the cheese once it's melted. And that's the finishing touch for the molletes. Okay, there's just 0 seconds left on my timer. I'm going to say there's about 10 seconds, but there's about 0 seconds left on my timer. And the cheese is nicely melted. Cheese is nicely melted, looks good. We're going to take some of this homemade Pico De Gallo. Spread that on top. Wow, the smells from the lime and the onion and the tomatoes hitting that hot cheese. It's gorgeous. Just beautiful. If I wasn't hungry before I made these, I am definitely hungry now. Spread it nice all over the sandwich. And here you have the molletes, a simple sandwich with refried beans, cheese, and Pico De Gallo on a toasted roll. Let me just take a bite of this. Wow. That is amazing. All right. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like the content on this channel, please give this video a thumbs up. What an amazing sandwich. And if you would please subscribe to my channel. We'd love to see you coming back. But enjoy, if you get to make one of these molletes, enjoy it because they are amazing. All right. Love you guys. Take care.